Alright, hello, stargazers. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope everybody's having a good day today. Hello. Hello, Johnny Virgil. Hello, Blank. Hello, KLMX. Hello, Eve. Hello, Sime0. Hello, Raul. Hello, Vessa. Hello, Welp. Hello, Gary Ballard. Hello, Uncreative. Welcome in. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having a good day today. Hello. For once I'm on time, I tried so hard. I was really rushing. I was like, if I'm late one more time, they will make fun of me. They will tease me about this. I have to make sure I'm on time this time. He's like, I'll show you guys. I'll hit start stream right at 2, but be AFK until I'm actually ready. No. That's not true. I had everything ready to go. Star, I need your support. I didn't get the 50/80 at the Endfield raffle? Wait, what's the 50/80? Is that something to do with the Gamescom event that you're attending right now? I hope you were still able to get some fun things. What was the raffle about? Oh, it was a raffle for an RTS. Oh, okay, I see. Oh my gosh. That is, wait. Why would they have a... That's wild. Oh, man. Call me a sock? I saw that. You can't delete that. I saw that. What the heck? Raul, what the heck? I've never been insulted like that. Star, you suck. What the heck? Oh my gosh. That's a new one. That is a new one to me. Also 500 card and beans. Oof, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. I don't know how I can make it better. Matcha, hello, welcome in. How are you doing today? Hello, chillerade. Matcha, how are you doing? It's been some time. It is good to see you. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in, Matcha. Hello. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Starlight. I'm a Prismatic Kitsune. Today, we haven't really started stream yet, so perfect timing. We are going to be doing hand studies today. Specifically hand studies inspired by Arknights. But, hello. It's been a hot minute. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's fine, just need to vent for a short while. Yeah, feel free to vent. That is something I can definitely understand needing to vent about. Sorry, I got thrown off with the raid here, but... yeah, feel free to vent about that. That is a very valid venti thing, for sure. Ugh. She received psychic damage and stunned her brain for being called a sock. What? Raul! These are like Tumblr level insults. Goodness. Hand studies, yeah, hand studies indeed. I think I'm going to start with, Exusia hand study, just because that's on the thumbnail. That'll be a good way to get started. And then I set this up, but I'm a little nervous to see how well it works. I'm going to see if we could maybe do a hand study for Viviana. I'm gonna try, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Good evening. Been a little while since I got to clock into a stream. Today was my sister's graduation, so we celebrated that. Well, congratulations to your sister, Aegis. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope it went well. It's like throwing cheese at baby they don't understand. What? Do you normally throw cheese at babies? What? I'm so confused right now. Just like slices of cheese? Is that what you do in your free time? Oh wait, is that the cat thing? Are you referring to the cat? What, just like throwing a piece of cheese on a cat? And babies. It's cats and babies. Interesting. Okay. Clog a child with the entire cheese wheel. Jeez. Oh my god. I'm... But yeah, anyway. Hey, just congrats to your sister. Vesta's so violent. Yeah, just a giant wheel of cheese. That would genuinely hurt, I think. Oh, alright. Anyway. That is an interesting way to start off the stream, I think. Don't you think? I would say that's a fairly interesting way to start things off. Thank you. She's a certified nurse now. We're proud of her, LD. Nice, nice, nice. Let's hit Raoul with a cheese wheel instead. Oh my gosh. Also, hello, Sea Hero. Hello, Arcu. How are you guys doing today? Alright, let me get this reference up. I guess, yeah, we'll start with Exusia. I think that would be a good way to start things off. Get a zoom in here. If I can actually see what I'm doing here. There we go. And we'll switch over to... There we go. Alrighty. We'll get our zoom in here. And let's see. Ah! This is gonna be tricky, isn't it? Are we gonna be annoying about this? We are gonna be annoying about this. Okay, fine. Be that way. I don't have my regular wheels on this section here. Yay, apple pie hands. I'm gonna start this as like a nice warm-up, I think. And then we'll see how we go from there. So, the reason that I wanted to do this type of stream is because, I was graciously gifted a hand-drawing reference book, from Siam Zero, so major thank you again. And I thought that the nicest way to show appreciation would be to use it on a stream, and see what we can get from it, see what we can get with it. So, if I'm looking here, it's sort of, everything's sort of broken down here in basic shapes. Let me see if there's one specifically for... I'm curious if there's one specifically for a peace sign. There probably is, because there's a lot to go with here. Yeah, there we go. Oh, wow. Do you want a peace sign at 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle, 180-degree angle, side angle, upside-down angle? You can get a peace sign for every angle. That is really helpful. Okay, so let's see. We'll start by blocking off our basic shapes, I think. And this is... Alright, let's add a little... So do you see how this is, like, fairly straightforward? We can add a little bit of visual interest to it, I think. Have a little bit of variation. So we'll start with the basic shapes that we can see. And I'll also break this down by color, because I'm noticing that they're doing the same thing, and it helps us get a better visual breakdown of everything. So if I'm doing this myself as well... Alright, that's gonna be... There's gonna be 3 layers here. Or 3 segments, I should say. 3 segments to the fingers, right? This part in the back that you can't really see as well. And then this part here on the front. And this is where I'm gonna start segmenting it in color. And then we've got this part here, too. Because Exusia is a female, we are going to try to make everything fairly slimmed down. And then we have to also make sure that we have the 3 segments here. 7:45 ankle. Fingerless gloves? Who could you know that would use that? Your VGen stuff is notification only? I couldn't send the thing in? Oh, shoot. Let me set the calls to being wishlist based. The reason I noticed that there's a few people that set things to, a few people sent things in, and I have it right now just for notification because I don't want anyone to think that I can immediately get to them, so let me set a few things to waitlist so that people are, like, acknowledging that I have their name down if they're very serious. Make sure I have this down. Stream on time, but now VGen scuff. I can't believe Aroma would do this. Alright. So, these hands are, like, they're very casual. They're not... Alright. Because you can do a peace sign where you, have your two fingers out really far like a V, and then Exusia just has it kind of casually. So we'll make these a little bit closer together. And we'll give a little bit of a casual, like, angle to it. Everything should feel very, very relaxed. Everything should feel very relaxed. I'm gonna give a little bit more of a point up here. Make sure there's kind of a... Let's see here. It doesn't help if I'm holding a pen at the same time. Okay. I want to make this part a little bit different. Just so that there is visual variation, so that the hand looks a little bit more interesting. And then here we go. This is going to be a whole separate segment. You have the palm of your hand, and then you have the two segments on your thumb. Oh. And then once we get this general idea, we are... What are you doing? Stop that. So the general segments on your thumb. Then we can also worry about the folds of the fingerless gloves and everything. This part is going to be open, and there's going to be some stitching around it. And then some creases where the hand meets here. And then there's going to be the cuff. And is there anything on the cuff? I think there's just a band. I think there's just a white band here. Am I hitting something? I must be hitting some kind of key here. As I'm trying to struggle holding the book at the same time that I'm holding the pen. And I'm trying to juggle both at once, and I don't think it's behaving very well. There we go. Yeah, I think there's just sort of a white band for visual contrast. And that should be good. And then if we want, just because Exusia has like this bright fuchsia, we'll add that as well, just so that we can get a better idea of things. Alright. So with all of this laid out, broken down with all the different hand shapes, we can start going in and getting more painterly. Eat the book to absorb its knowledge. Also, hello, Austin Fox. You need to practice drawing human hands, or just draw everyone wearing plate armor tech wear. I feel like that makes things a little bit harder, no? Alright. I'm going to center that a little bit so it's easier to work with. I'm going to try these new techniques that I've been picking up online that I really want to try to get better at. You know what's interesting is it's no surprise if you're in the Discord and you see that I have, like, all the references where I'm constantly talking about my fascination with people who have, like, masterful lighting and everything. But as I'm, like, observing more of this stuff, I'm realizing just how much it's really fine art based. And I didn't get a degree in fine art. I got a degree in like, graphic design and illustration. But I feel like lately what I'm being drawn to is a lot more fine art based, which is interesting, because it's much more about, like, there is a technical element to it, but it's also a lot more about the feeling. So on the latest commissions that I'm working on, for instance, I'm trying to make my pieces have, like, more emotional feeling into it, and not just sort of being like this, base illustrative, it is what it is type of drawing, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but the combination of, like, fine art with an anime style is something I really, really admire. And it's something that's very, very heavily present in Arknights, and not in a lot of other places, to be honest. Doing the X hand pose IRL is difficult. It's fine. I'll check again tomorrow or the day after. I can just set it up real quick. It's, hang on, you know what? Let me just do that really fast. Let me just save here real quick, and let me just jump into VGen. But basically, if I do that, just note that I do have, like, I have, like, a waitlist, like, people who have mentioned things earlier. So I want to make sure that people don't think that I can, like, immediately get to the work, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get it to, like, maybe September, October. I don't know, I'm trying to juggle a lot of things. But if people are okay just being on a waitlist just so that I'm aware, I'll put a few services on waitlist instead of just closed. That'll make it a little easier, I think. Let me see. I have that one, and the consultation, where's that one? Oh, that's the really crazy one. I just want the consultation. And the touch-up consultation. I have 2 different types of consultations. I actually have 4, but 2 of them are art-based. Alright. And I think that's probably all I can really open at the moment, is really just, like, consultation or specific things that I've seen. And that's, again, not something I can entirely jump into, but is just like, hey, I'm aware that you are interested and I have your name down. Poll completed, should we hit Raoul with a cheese wheel? When did you make this? Jeez. Hang on a sec. Is the thumb a bit thin? I don't think so. Is it? Let me think here. Let me see if I have a... Not that I can tell. Just have like a little bit of a line there. Oh, on the reference. Yeah, on the reference possibly. I mean, it's stylized enough to be okay, I think. I'll have like a little bit of a thumb showing here. I don't know. It's a little hard to tell with the, with it sort of being broken up by the fingerless glove. I think it's okay. 10 minutes ago. I didn't see the actual poll being started. I just saw the poll completed. By far the most difficult hand pose is drawing them manipulating a small delicate object. Snapping is up there too. Yeah, snapping for sure. Who mentioned the cheese wheel? So Eve made a comment about throwing cheese on a baby or a cat. And then Vesa just said, why not just throw the whole cheese wheel? And then Vesa said, we should throw the cheese wheel at Raoul. And that's how that happened, I suppose. I'm not part of it, I'm just trying to stay up to date with everything. Alright. Now what we're going to do, I can clean this up just a little bit more, just make sure it's easier to work with. It's fine, I'm gonna erase this a little bit more. Alright, that's good. So now we are gonna jump straight into the color. Because this is an anime style, I think I'm just gonna color pick the skin directly. And we'll just go around here very quickly. And I say anime style, but I'm going to try to do a little bit more of a fine art type of... I don't know. I'm really experimenting, to be honest. This is very, very experimental. I haven't really gotten much of a chance to try this kind of thing, but I've been really inspired by it lately, so... Cheese for everyone? No cheese for no one? That can also be a cause for celebration if you don't like cheese? What? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? That's confusing. Alright. And then let's see here. So, if I wanted to add a little bit more realism, we know that the tips of your fingers are a little bit redder. Just, oh, need to make sure that we lock it so it doesn't move. Just make sure that we do this just very, very slightly, and the palm is going to be a little bit redder, and probably a little bit on the shadow. We'll do this, because because it's fingerless gloves, we don't have to do this very, very heavily. And then I'm going to get something a little bit less saturated. And I'm going to take this brush that I've been using that's kind of like a marker that I've been really enjoying lately. And see if I can just sort of play around with this a little bit on the edges. Maybe make it a little bit more saturated so I can see what I'm doing. I know it looks a little off. It's just the first shading layer, so I will reduce it in just a sec. And then a little bit here, and I'll probably reduce the saturation there again. But I'm throwing in this rough marker because it does a really good job of, like, letting me lay down the color quickly. I really, really like it. I really like using it. I just started using it very recently, actually, and I'm heavily enjoying this technique. See, it probably seemed like it was too much at first, but now it's, like, not as... now it's not as aggressive, right? And I'll probably grab the line art real quick and color it with more of, like, where the fingers are. I'll give it, like, a bit of a maroon, because we'll paint over it later. I feel like maybe the fingers could be a little bit wider, just a little bit. So we'll go in and do that real quick. Maybe make them a little bit larger. Just so everything sort of feels like it is more in proportion. Yeah, that feels a little bit better, I think. Maybe we'll do the same thing here. I think I made the palm a little bit a little bit too large. That's okay though. I'll just grab the whole thing, size it up a little bit. Oh, I'll actually go the opposite way so I don't cut into it too badly. Yeah, that's a little bit more in proportion, don't you think? And then like that. All right, that's about right, I would say. Might be a little off. I'm still working on the intricacies of this kind of style, this kind of approach. I genuinely just started working this way, so I got a lot to learn in terms of really, really pushing the color, I think. But some cool things that you can do is you can take like a purple or a blue, and you can like really, really desaturate the shadow if you want to. And it kind of, creating a little bit of this harmonious color effect. Just a little bit here on the edges. Don't want to do it too much. You don't want it to start looking too rainbow. But just a little bit. This we can probably would not end up seeing the fingerless gloves here. The edge is likely about right there, so you wouldn't see it as heavily. But let's grab the main color for that. We'll paint it in real quick. Are the operators going to look similar to the style used in my big art pieces? I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm being, like, really experimental right now, so I honestly don't know. I'm still really trying to figure out what style works best for me. I know what I'm inspired by lately, but I'm not really sure where I'm going with things lately. Don't want to start looking too rainbow. Things I never thought I'd hear Star say for 500, Alex. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, because everything I would normally do is rainbow, I have to make sure that things that should not be don't end up being. It's more like, if it's my default, then I have to work hard to get rid of it. where I don't need to have it. You know what I mean? Alright, and we'll add this part here. There we go. I feel like that touch of magenta is, like, very iconic to her design. And then we'll just grab a little bit of the black here. To make sure, the one thing about the marker brush is that it's very, very unwieldy. You kind of have to just, work with it afterwards a little bit. It's very, very unwieldy. It doesn't want to behave very much. But once we're able to get our base down, it'll look good, I think. Because then we'll just be able to paint over it nicely. And this is something also where this kind of, like, very rough painterly style, I'm really interested in it because it forces me to not spend a million hours on details no one can see. And I think that's not only better for me, but also better for making the piece feel more fluid and energetic. And I've always been saying that I think my work is sometimes too stiff. It doesn't have enough energy to it. This brings back the energy. This really, really helps bring back the energy when you can't force it to be perfect. When it just has to sort of go with what it's doing, you know? It forces a lack of perfectionism that I really, really need. So I want to do more pieces in the very rough painterly style, and the difference between how I've approached rough painterly in the past is that I've seen what people do. Instead, they do the rough painterly part, and then instead of... Okay, backtrack. Typically when you see an anime art piece, right? It's usually done with, like, sketch, then line art, then color, then shading. And what I've been seeing lately is a lot more fine art based, where it's like, sketch, then color, then paint over, then pretend you did line art and just line the edges later. And it's a very unnatural way of working. It's not how you're taught to work. It creates really cool results, but it's not at all how you're taught to work. Because basically most people will teach everything in a very formulaic fashion. You know, first do the sketch, then do the line art, then add the color behind the line art, then do the shading, and then it becomes more like a coloring book, which works if you're doing things like manga or if you're doing, like, animation. Like, animation has to be like a coloring book, right? But if you're doing illustration, you can make things more like a fine art piece. And I think that's something very interesting to keep in mind. And it's something I really want to explore more, I think. And get a little bit of our highlight here. I'm not really sure if this is supposed to be a metal or fabric, but I'm just gonna treat it as metal because I think it works. I might not be like 100% accurate on all the designs, but I'm just going with what looks good. Reject taut, embrace cool. Pretend to do line art. I mean, kind of, right? Because it's like, when you look at it after, when you look at the piece after someone's uploaded it, it's like, oh wow, the line art's really clean. And then you watch the process, and then it's like, oh my gosh, they didn't do actual line art. None of this was actually line art. It's really cool. I feel like I'm super, super nerding out today, but hope that's alright. Fine line between shadow, rainbow, and bruise with purple. Yeah, exactly. Very, very fine line indeed. I 100% agree with that. Alright. I think, you know what? Purple, though, would look really good here. If I add a little bit of extra... Yeah, okay. This looks really good. Because this is like... Now I'm starting to mix the shadow here. The darker shadow, instead of just being a black. If I add, like, some blue to it, we're picking up the difference between the blue shadow and the warm light fabric. And it creates sort of a really cool harmonious effect. You can't do it too much, but just in the shadow portions. And then what I might try doing, again, being very experimental, if I tried okay, maybe not in purple, maybe in blue. If I tried doing like let's see if this would work. Maybe, okay, actually, let's go warm for that. Try and add a little bit of edge against the shadow and the highlight. It might not work. I'm just playing around here, seeing what would benefit. Maybe a little bit. Not too much, though. When else can you nerd out? Monday? I don't even know what Monday is. You're always a nerd, sock later. Jeez, Raffle. You're always a nerd, that's why we love you. Jeez. Also, THLPH, if I didn't say hello to you earlier, hello. About what you said, I guess you want to be really good at sketching to then skip the line art step. Yeah, a lot of the people who I see do this kind of style, they're already, like, their sketching is already very flawless. It doesn't take a lot of, fixing, you know? So that absolutely is a huge, huge portion of it. You have to be very, very good at sketching so that your line art just sort of feels flawless. I'm gonna try to make the shadow a little bit darker, but I want to be careful that I don't push it too much. And I don't want it to be very saturated. I actually want it to be kind of less saturated, I think, if I'm gonna do that. I have to be very, very careful that I don't go too overboard here. And then I can add a little bit of that back into the crevices here. That would be good. A little bit back here. Alright. I'm just barely... Okay. And then, I think what we'll do... Let's see what it looks like without the sketch underneath it. It holds up pretty well. It holds up pretty well, but we can make this better. So what I'll do is I'll keep erasing a little bit of the sketch here. And again, I don't 100% know what I'm doing. I am taking this from artists that I've seen that I'm inspired by, and I'm going, okay, how can I emulate this? That's a huge part of it, right? Like, okay, how can I do this too? How can I emulate this? How can I study this? I'm just getting a little bit of it out of the way where it's slightly choppier, not as clean. Alright. And then what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and put a layer over it. And let's see what we can do here to sort of clean it up nicely. Make it look like fake line art, basically. See if we can fake the line art. This is also a technique that I am currently doing in my ongoing commissions at the moment. And I'm really hoping to get better at, like, consistently doing this, because I think it's a really nice style. After apple pie, you gonna draw more operator hands? I'm probably going to do Viviana next if I can. I had a really hard time seeing what her design was, because she has, like, armor. She has, like, she has gloves with armor on it. And I tried looking at all kinds of different visuals, but it was a little bit hard to make out, so I'll do my best with it. Alright. We'll get the nails to show more. You see how sort of, like, when I clean it up, it gives us a better idea of everything else? Alright. Make a little bit more nod here to the fingerless glove portion. And then we'll maybe grab our colored layer here for the top of the fingers, where the gloves are not present. And then blend that in again, so it feels more like lines. See, I naturally do have a very painterly style. The problem is, I've been trying to force a painterly style into a coloring book situation, and then wondering why the work either looked really stiff or didn't look very clean. Now I'm trying to do something where I paint all the problems on top. And I feel like it's giving me better results that way. I'm just sort of going over it here. I also have to make sure that one thing I still do need to get better at, though, is sharpness. I'm trying to figure out how to make sure that all of the work stays sharp. Because sometimes if you paint over like this, everything can sort of still feel kind of, muddy. So I'm trying to still work on making everything very crisp and sharp. Not always easy, but that's why we do these sessions, that's why we do these practices. I think so far I'm happier with it than I have been with other pieces lately. So I'd say that's a win. I usually end up doing things like reference sheets or emotes. I don't get to be as artistic most of the time. Will we search for candle again? I'll see. I wonder if there is a reference in that book on, like, holding a candle. I'll have to check. It seems kind of essential, doesn't it? And we'll do a little bit of a thin line here to sort of insinuate stitching. I didn't previously like my, what I would call, like, oil painting style, because it always just felt too rough and fuzzy. And this, like, combination with oil painting and then this fake line on top is kind of creating a good combination that makes my oil painting style feel less fuzzy, for lack of better terminology. And then anywhere that I see that there's like a little bit of more of a rough edge, I'm just making sure I get rid of it. Most of the time, you don't zoom as much on the hands as to need doing this, right? It seems really time consuming if you need to do it for every hand in a picture. I don't think for this I need to zoom in because the whole piece is just the hand. But if I was, like, drawing Exusia fully, then yeah, I would probably zoom in. I've gotten into a weird habit where I'm not zooming in as much in general as I used to. You know, for better or for worse. It helps sort of keep everything open so that you're not super heavy focused on detail that you can't see. But, like, when I do pieces for Sea Hero, I'm constantly zooming in because we always include, like, a million different crazy Easter eggs. And then, because, again, we want to look more feminine, I'm going to make sure that the fingers are a little bit more tapered. Because, if you want, like, a masculine look, the fingers are going to look more squared off. And if you want a feminine look, the hands are going to look more tapered. So we'll make it a little bit more feminine. And again, I'm sort of combining the sort of, like, cool color with this, warm shadow. As long as they don't compete too much. And I'm not gonna spend, like, forever on perfecting this. If I was doing a commission, obviously I'd be spending more time on it. But since these are just, since these are mainly studies, I don't want to be super crazy about it. I'm just seeing what I can do to make this a little bit more refined. A little bit more polished. Candles are not essential in the year of the Lord 2025. We have light bulbs now. Jeez. Candles still have a lot of, like, spiritual significance, though. You can always still use candles. Alright. See you later, C+. I don't know if you replied to my question earlier, but if so, are we gonna rely on the wheel again? I don't think not at the moment anyway? I don't know. I know I wanted to do Exusia because it's a good warm-up, and I know I want to do Viviana because Sime Zero is the one who provided me with this book that I'm taking all this reference from. After that, I don't know. Why, are you hoping for me to be painting some blue gloves? Alright. That's looking good so far. Let me just clean up the edge here. You know what the funniest thing is when you do this, like, paint-over style, is that when you're working, you're just like, wow, I'm spending all this time and it doesn't really feel like I've gotten much of anything done. But in just a sec, I'll show you, like, before and after, because I would previously have just, like, tried to correct the line art or then tried to correct the color underneath. And this whole, like, painting over everything makes it so that you don't have to worry about that. You can just turn it off and on and then, like, adjust as necessary, and it's beautiful. It's quite beautiful. So I'll show that in just a sec. This brush is fighting me just a tad, but it's okay, because I like this brush. Maybe certain tiger's hands, since I might be being held at gunpoint. We do have references for that, too. I have references for a few of our community favorites here, just in case. Again, I'm really not sure if this is meant to be metal, but I kind of like the idea of it just being metal, like a metal piece. It probably isn't. Someone's probably gonna correct me. Someone's probably just gonna be like, it's just a stripe, why are you doing that? But, you know what? Oh well. I'm making an executive, probably incorrect design decision. It's my stream, so it's metal now. It's probably just a white stripe, but you know what? I'm having fun, so. Alright, and then we'll just sort of blend this away, so that it's not so, like, we don't need any line art at the bottom there. There we go, that's fitting. I'll just have the speed paint. I'll have a speed paint uploaded as, like, we have, like, Code of Brawl music or something. There we go. Let me fix this part up right here. Don't move. It's visual theme? I'm just saying that, like, not this piece, but, like, in general. I don't remember which one exactly. I'm just saying in general I could, though. I don't think I've encountered this one yet. Alright. Move that around just a little bit here. Alright. And then this is what it looks like before and after with the overpainting. That's wild, right? It's just like a little bit of extra overpainting, and then it ends up like being a finished piece. It ends up being so clean at the end. And we didn't do any line art. It feels polished, but there's no line art. It's just weirdly painted over. It's fake line art. Isn't that crazy? It's fake line art. It saves so much time. It saves so much time. It's not even funny how much time it saves. But you don't upload videos? Hush! Hush, jeez. I'm trying my darndest. To me, it very much looks like simple coloration. What does? Huh? Speaking of metal, Vigna and us probably have some interesting hand poses to look at because they do music. Oh, that's cool. The reverse coloring book technique, amazing, exactly. Also, hello, Maya. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's like, you can paint over it, and it saves so much time, and it doesn't make you go insane, and I love that. Alright. Let's do a quick, I'm gonna do a quick export. There we go. Yeah, we'll do 60 seconds, so it doesn't take too long to save. Yeah, reverse coloring book technique. There you go. I like that. I don't normally get to play with this much color variety, like the little bits of blue and the little bits of purple. So, yeah, I mean, would other people be able to push it further? Probably. I'm sure other people could push it further than I can. But you know what? It is still further than what I'm doing right now. So, I think it's still a good practice. Let me... Wait, do I have I don't have an Arknights art folder yet. I probably should do that. I should probably get that at some point. Let's see here. I must have... You know, it's probably somewhere else. Alright. We'll have Exusia. There we go. Espresso, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. Alright. I think that works. I'm going to attempt Viviana here. We'll see how that goes. What time is it actually? You know what, before we do that, let me save this real quick. We'll make sure that's for Exusia. The folder's gonna start filling up fast. Probably. I don't mind. I think that's cool. Alright. Make sure that we're saving this as a layered file so that it doesn't destroy us here. Alright. So we're gonna do Viviana next, but before that, I haven't actually seen the Endfield trailer, so I thought maybe it would be fun to sort of, like, step halfway in and do a quick react to the trailer. I haven't seen it yet. I believe you guys all have, but I have not. What do you think about that? Also, I just realized that this chat is, like, really off-kilter for some reason. Why are you so strangely placed? Oh, it's fine. Designing uniform can be frustrating. Trying to keep yourself within a specific aesthetic, time period, look, all trying to unify competing historical inspirations. Yeah, it definitely takes a long time. No spoilers in there? Alright, sounds good. Alright, let's jump in here then. Alright. And we'll jump to, I think I have it set up here? And again, I have not seen this yet. I've avoided seeing this. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let's watch it. Alright, sounds good. Let's see. I've not seen this yet. I don't know what to expect here. Have you seen all the previous trailers? I don't recall. I think I've seen a tiny bit, but not, like, not much. Still watch the trailer? Forgot it happened a few days ago? Haven't gone around to watching it. Then let's watch it together. Let's watch it together. Alright, let's see what's up here.
The automated industry complex will be the link, connecting and uniting every fragment of this shattered world. This is the driving force that will keep us going. Continuous improvement is essential for keeping pace with advancements in technology.
Okay, so they're definitely keeping the Factorio part. Oh, wow.
Endfield. We don't simply talk about our dreams. We do what we can to make them a reality. All operators accounted for. The team is ready for the mission.
Jeez, the visuals. I've never played Genshin, so I don't have experience with, like, 3D gacha at all. And we don't have any tea. That's okay, though. That is beautiful. That is absolutely— Go away! That is beautiful. Jeez. That is gorgeous. Wait, hang on a sec. Wait, why did I close that? I shouldn't have closed that. Shoot, hang on a sec. I should not have closed that. I didn't mean to close it. Ad jump scare, no kidding! Hang on, I didn't mean to close that. Ah, dang it. Give me a sec. I didn't mean to close it. I'm gonna jump in here real quick while I work on getting that back. I didn't mean to close it. I panic closed it, that was the problem. Shoot. Alright. Do we have that link again? Alright. I got spooked. I got spooked. Alright. Hang on a sec. Trying to bring that back. Stop with the stupid ads. Stupid ads here. Enough with the stupid ads. Alright. Are these also ads? These are also ads. Go away, ads. Alright, I wanna go back and see the hang on a sec. Please stay the way you were. Dang it! Okay, hang on. I messed this up. Did I just absolutely get rid of it? What did I do? What did What did I do? I think I absolutely killed it. There we go. I got spooked. I got spooked. I don't even think this is the same link anymore, but that's okay. Banished to the Shadow Realm. It isn't a star stream without scuff. Hush! Hush, hush, hush. Okay. I want to go back to the fox design. Hang on. I want to see this, what they were showing this one more time.
The automated industry complex will be the
So we're definitely going to be keeping the
fragment of this shattered world.
We're definitely going to be
that will keep us going. Continuous improvement is
keeping the
essential
Factorio
for keeping
feeling.
pace with advancements in technology.
Okay, this design right here. Do you guys think this is gonna be a, do you think this is a fox or a wolf? Did you notice something? There's so much happening, I don't think I did. Also, let me fix this really quick. I feel like this is not the way it should be. This needs to change real quick. There we go. Did I notice anything? I did not notice anything. The claw mark reads as wolf? Factorio seems like a game made for me. For some reason, I never really managed to get into it. Did you notice something? Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah, it kind of does have like a Little Red Riding Hood feel. Is there a full... I'm trying to see if there's any other design elements that we can see from this. I don't think so. It jumps so fast, so it's hard to see. We do have the claw. It could be wolf because, like, with the hood themselves, like, if these were her actual ears, I would say that this is probably a fox because the ears are so big. But her actual ears are really small in comparison with the hood, so they actually seem like they might be, it does have that Red Riding Hood motif, doesn't it? Not saying anything more? Okay, I don't think I don't know what I can pick up on at this point. Alright. Let me see this again. So, I can't tell with I was going to try to see if I could see her tail, but I can't see her tail. Ears feel really big, or they can be small. Yeah, let me see here. Okay.
They don't simply talk about
So it is drones like base building.
We do what we can to make them
So she's Liberi, right? Because of the ears?
accounted for. The team is ready for the mission.
Yeah, if there's any references here, I'm not able to pick up on it. But that's okay, I don't think I should be able to at this point. There's definitely a major factorial portion. There's definitely a major factorial portion here. Okay, is that a building or a creature? I couldn't tell if that's a building or a creature. As far as we know, she's Libri. That makes sense. Kinda reminds me of Xenoblade style more than Genshin artistically. I agree. It definitely has way more of a Xenoblade feeling to it. I've never played Xenoblade either, so... Let me see. Okay, so this is... So this has, like... I don't know if the fighting is gonna be more like Genshin or like Xenoblade, honestly. So, there's... Okay, that's skills. This is gonna be interesting how they handle that. I can't make out any of these designs, really. I can't... I am having... SOS. Okay. Why would it... Interesting, interesting. We've got SOS right here. Let me see. Yeah, I can't really make out many details, honestly. Okay. So, oh wait, I know that this is supposed to be like, a different version of Angelina, right? I recognize this one. I recognize this one. I know this one is basically supposed to be Angelina. Maybe a respawn point? That could be it. Weird rock monsters remind me of Control and Black Rock Quarry. Don't dig if you don't want to be spoiled. I mean, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I like her design, so that's really cool. I'm trying to... Yeah, so there's, Administrator, a Libri. I know Angelina's, basically Volpo, so that's essentially our Volpine candidate. I'm not sure here. Maybe, Draco? Dang. Yeah, it looks very, very different from anything that I've experienced anyway. Sarcasm more likely? It seemed like a fairly large tail, I would say. I want to see more bear characters in Endfield. I've only seen one from previous trailers. Isn't there a giant panda? I'm interested in the superstructure in the background, like a big pipeline, aqueduct vibes. Interesting. That's one bear character I know of. Yeah, I've only seen the giant panda, but like he makes an impression for sure. So I don't know. I've never played like anything Factorio based, and I've never played a 3D gacha like Genshin before. And I've never played Xenoblade. I haven't really... I don't think I have any personal experience with any of this kind of stuff other than, Vesta's gonna kill me. TOTK is probably my closest comparison. That probably doesn't even count, so... But yeah, I have not seen the trailer. I like the fact that I can't pick up what other people are able to pick up, because I know I probably shouldn't be able to at this point, so I'm glad at least. Yeah, there's just so much, like, flashing on the screen that it's hard to stay focused on any one thing anyway, so that's honestly a good thing. I'm curious about the fighting style. I know that not everybody is the biggest fan of the Xenoblade fighting style. Here, let me jump back to our music here. I know that people don't want it to be entirely like Genshin either, though, because I know people were saying that that would feel too easy. So I'm curious which direction they go with that, honestly. Alright, let's get back here. There we go. I feel like with the base building and factory stuff, you'll either hate it or get really into it, and there's a TOTK mention, doesn't even make sense, Star. 3D exploration! 3D exploration! Remind me of the wind tunnels of Karnika and Dishonored 2, still one of the coolest background details. I've never seen that, I don't know what that is. Dodging was too easy for your taste? Wait, did you play the beta? Fights also were not that tactical, as my companions did not take damage when not controlled. Or maybe just greatly reduced damage. Is this a beta experience? I love how the poll for Raoul with the cheese wheel is still up there. I was at Gamescom and played through 2 boss fights. Oh, I see. Oh, this is your experience just now. They had a demo, on the show floor? Fights are not that tactical. Companions didn't take damage when not controlled, or maybe just greatly reduced damage. Dodging was too easy for my taste. Are you nervous they might be trying to lean a little more, too close to the Genshin feeling? Or do you think that maybe it's just because it's on the show floor, so they have to, like, have the really, really easy stuff up front? What are the results of the poll? I can't see it. What do you mean you can't see it? You're the one who made it. Only 2 people, participated in the poll, but they both wrote yes. So there's your answer. I don't know why I can't see it, I just can't. I don't know why either. Alright. Let's see what I can pick up with, Viviana here. Also, I don't know if I was saying that other Fox operator's name correctly. Is it Angelina, or... I didn't remember. Alright, let's see here. Basically never got hit, except for 1 or 2 AoEs. I don't know if they dumbed it down with more stamina. I would imagine that it's probably for, my guess is that it's, like, specifically, like, easy for show floor. That would be my guess anyway. But I don't really know what the setup of the venue was, so I can't really make a judgment call on that one. Alright, let's see. I'm curious. Is there a reference of someone holding a candle? I feel like there could be. I feel like there might be. Let me see here. There should be a section in the back with props. There's utensils. We're getting closer. Plates and cups. Phones. Pens. Scissors. We're getting closer. A brush. Scissors are hard. Drawing hands holding scissors? Oh my gosh. We've got a pipe. A fan. A vial. Is there holding a candle? If there isn't, then I'll see if I can do a plate. Because plate might work. Instruments. Swords. A bird. Just holding a bird. If you ever need a reference on how to hold a bird, there's references on how to hold birds. I don't see a candle. I don't think there's a candle. Darn it. Because the way that she holds the candle here is pretty unique, I feel. I'm looking real quick, make sure I didn't skip over it or anything. I don't think there's a candle, unfortunately. Alright, we're gonna have to improvise then. In my experience, the feel of playing games at Gamescom ends up being a lot different than actually playing at home. Then again, I had to do it in full cosplay. Fair enough. Yeah, like, I'm thinking, like, maybe by the handle. I'm trying to see how she is holding it in the art, in her E1 art, but I can't quite make it out. Like, I can't quite tell how she's actually holding... Oh, wait! Does it have a curve? She's holding it with, yeah, like you said, like a teacup? There's gotta be a teacup in here, right? That's so standard. There's also holding little objects, which Blank was mentioning earlier. Okay, there's holding a coffee... There's holding a mug. It's probably the closest we're gonna get. Okay. Candles often have a ring, so a little like a cup or a mug. Alright, that sounds good. So... This might be a little tricky, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Going out of our comfort zone here, right? make sure that we have this set for time lapse. Field required. Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. I hope you're having a good day today. Alright, let me get her E1 up here just so we can kind of see what we're working with. And I might have to heavily increase the size. Hide Exusia for a minute. Alright, let's see if we can, let's see what we're able to make out anyway. Because it's very, yeah, it's not the highest resolution. You might be able to work with it though. I definitely can't get the detail of the candle itself. Dang it. Alright. Probably the best I can get. Game shows are meant to get people to play through small special portions and have a blast. Making it too hard and having to learn mechanics in a short time would leave a bad impression. Which is what they're trying to avoid. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. How's the hand studies going? It's going well. We just recently finished doing the one for Exusia, and now we are going to try to do one for Viviana. Are there any references for hands resting on the pommel of a sheathed sword? That is also extremely unpleasant. Probably. There's some sword pieces here. Well, more so dagger. Okay, there's katana. They don't have everything. They don't have everything. But there's knife and katana. I think katana is probably the closest we're gonna get. Well, no, there's a short knife at least. Short blade. The Exusia one turned out pretty good. Thank you, I appreciate it. Alright. Let's remove this, and let's try to get our base again here, right? So, if we're doing the cup, essentially. She has her... She's holding it in a very, very different way. It's a lot more delicate. Let me see if I can sort of use the reference of the cup and try to grab the reference from here as well. Let's kind of try to combine them a little if we can. So we're gonna have the palm here. And then we're gonna have our main fingers here. I don't really know how we're gonna be able to see her thumb. We've got the actual candle here. And she's holding the candle itself with the other two fingers, so I'm just sort of basing it around. I'm sure that someone else could sketch this cleaner right from the get-go. And then this art is also making use of variation to make it more visually interesting, I would say. Like I was showing before with how the hands are positioned, right? So we need these two fingers close together because they're gripping the handle. And then these two on the end are sort of more relaxed. And they sort of come together a little bit more evenly. The thumb, I don't know if we would actually see, because it would sort of come back from around here. I'm not really sure if that's going to be visible. So let's just stick with these for now. And then this is brought up a little bit higher. And then closed against the middle finger. Like so. Which kind of creates a nice, graceful, delicate effect. As it's gently meeting. And the actual candle, I'm not really sure how much detail I'm going to be able to see from it. I might kind of have to paint it as I can see it. It's not the clearest. So I'll do my best with it, but no guarantee here. And then I can't quite tell where the bottom of it is. I think this is the bottom? This looks like the bottom. I thought maybe it was here, but it looks like that's actually a part of the outfit behind, because it's reflecting. So I think this is the base of the candle. And this is probably where the... Can't quite tell what this is. We're just gonna work with shape language, though. This is very doable to be able to work with shape language like this. And then we'll have the top of the candle here. Maybe make it a little bit larger, a little taller, and then our flame here. Maybe make it a little bit thinner. I'm still trying to hold this while holding the book. Okay, needs to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Make this a little bit larger and a little bit thinner, so it's more refined. I'm 99% sure that this is what I'm seeing here. If you guys think it's different, then you can let me know, but pretty sure this is what we're witnessing. I say that in a weird way because we're dealing with something that's kind of blurry. But I'm fairly confident that this is what we can see. Might be a little bit closer. And again, I don't think that you would end up... I don't think you're seeing the thumb. If you... Maybe a little bit of it, but not much. Maybe a little bit from the back here. So if you have the... If you're holding it... Yeah, your thumb is going to show at the top just a little bit, I think. It would be a little bit awkward to have it not showing. Scotty's skin is clear and is holding an apple, just saying. The thumb is more obscured by the other fingers. I guess you don't need to worry too much about it. I'll show like a tiny bit of it, just so that it's like aiding the pointer finger a little. Suspicious Iguana, hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. I sent you a different image on Discord for reference. For which? For Viviana? Stockler uploaded a CG of Vivi on images and media for reference on how the candle is shaped. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Let me see if I can... Oh, okay, wait, that's a lot clearer. That's a lot clearer. Hang on, that is so much... Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay. That's actually a little bit different than what we have. It's slightly different, actually. It'll still work. Okay. Let me just see what else we can get from the book here. I think that's good. Okay. Put the book away so that I can work with this a little bit easier. And then we'll grab this. That actually also helps figuring out the armor, so thank you. Because I was struggling with both, not gonna lie. Alright. We'll have these and kind of go flip back and forth with them. Okay. There's so much. There's so much here. Okay, we can also make the candle a tiny bit shorter, just so it fits the perspective a little bit better. This is different though. This candle's different. Because do you see how I added like these extra pieces here? This piece that was sort of a little bit flowy, this bulbous piece, and then this edge. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, and this just has 1, 2, 3. It's a different candle. It's a different candle. It's not the same shape of candle. See if we can zoom in here a little bit more. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is 1, 2. Story and character artists are different, and so are the candles. Interesting, interesting. Okay. I'm trying to deal with like which one to go with. All right. Let's see if we can get the E1, just because that's what we started with, right? And I'm kind of I'm determined now. How goes your day? It's very jointy hand. Also very long pinky. Yeah, I can just we can fix that pretty easily. There we go. We'll do something like that. And then I still want to make it touch so it's more graceful. Let me make it a little bit pointed downwards a little bit here. There we go. I still think that works. I still think that's elegant. And, okay, there's gloves here, so only the pointer finger is going to have a nail showing. Most iconic hand grip I can think of is Hamlet. You know which. I'm not sure if Hamlet or that image is considered not safe for work. No, I mean, that's fine. It's Hamlet. It's kind of well known around the world, so... Okay. I'm mainly looking at the handle part, trying to figure out where it's connecting to the candle itself. It looks like it connects here. And then it has, like, this kind of graceful element, and then curves around. And then we can have a tiny bit of the thumb pointing out here, because I think you would naturally say that. And then there's just a little bit, can't quite tell what this is, but if it's painterly, it'll work. Alright, let's refine this a tiny bit. Just that we make sure that we have a good amount to go with here. I'm continually looking back at this image here. I like the waves that this has. I'm guessing this is also, I can't quite see the top as well, but I'm guessing this also has a little bit of a wave texture. I'm not sure if the design has, like, super significance, but I like how it's put together. I think it has just enough elements to make it feel more unique. Make this a little bit larger. Alright. I'm feeling better about that. Hello, Dat Cranky. Welcome in, welcome in. How's all the hands coming along? It's good. We're currently working with Viviana's right now. So, of course, we have to have the candle, but we were struggling a little bit with the position of the candle. I think we've got it now. I think we've got it. It's good reference. It's good experience. And we have to make sure that we keep that connected naturally, so... to make sure that everything stays connected here. Design looks somewhere between floral and astronomical to me, in between flower and sun. Ooh, I like that. I really like that. That's a cool way of looking at it. Oh, the other thing, I wanna also make sure that we get the armor in here a little bit. We have to move things around a tiny bit because large candle. But I want to get a hint of the armor. Slight hint of the armor. Got this piece going around. And there's going to be a little bit of a covering here. And on the E1 art, it also has a little bit of that floral part reflected, like the candle does too, which is really cool. Short candle now, beware fire hazard. I'll move it back. I just need a little bit more canvas room is all. But I like how the floral element of the candle is kind of reflected in her armor design. At least a little bit. You can see a tiny bit of it here. I guess you're right, like, each artist kind of has, like, slight different interpretations. When it comes to translating the reference. It's gonna be a little bit... It's probably... I would imagine it would be the same on the other side, but also maybe we can't see it. Maybe we can't see it from there. Maybe Vivi just has a collection of lots of slightly different candle holders. You know what? Valid. Candle collection. Drawing Viviana? Yeah! Well, we're drawing her hands anyway. We're doing hand studies today. And previously we did Exusia. Alright, I'm gonna have to figure out how this part works. I really like this, I like the uniform design. Or not the uniform, but you know what I mean. I'm taking a little bit from both the E1 and the CG here that I can see. and sort of making adjustments based on looking between both of them. Alright. And this piece, we'll probably fade it here. Make sure to get enough of a metallic, and then we'll make this a little bit larger. And curve it just a tiny bit more for more variation, dynamism. We'll make the wrist a little bit larger. Question? Why the different candle holding position as a challenge? Because it's a study or other? It's more, it's kind of, it's pretty similar, isn't it? I would say it's, I don't know, it's fairly close, and there's probably just like a little bit of variation. Greetings, hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, there's more detail here, I'm sure, but we'll probably stop it there and then get to the render part. Can we fit the candle? Or no, no. I might have to cut the candle short a little bit. Just because we're getting, it's getting a bit tight on this canvas. I might make it a little bit shorter, just so we can fit it. There we go. That works. That works. Alright. Then we'll clean up the edge just a tiny bit. And as I was explaining before, I don't have to do too much. Just have to do enough here. Just enough. So that when we go and do our overpaint, then it won't be too intrusive, which is very helpful. And this is definitely how I want to keep working going forward, because my gosh. I have to make sure that this has enough layers that the wrist can still move, if this is metal, right? I have to make sure that we show that there's two parts to it. Vivi's is straighter angled, holding upwards, while yours is more forward, I would say. Very good, was just curious. Yeah, I don't know, I think it was just sort of, I'm also using a hand reference book. So it might have a little bit of slight variation. Yeah, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, hers is more, I see what you're saying, I see what you're saying. I guess I ended up going for, like, a slightly more delicate look. I don't know, it was sort of subconscious. And then we'll just erase just enough, so that we can get the color in. Yeah, in the E1, it definitely looks like she's holding it a lot stronger. It's probably connected, I would imagine. About right here. We have a little bit of the thumb showing, even though it doesn't show in the E1 art, just because I think it makes sense. A little bit here. We'll clean this up a little. make that fit a little bit better. There we go. We'll try something like to that extent, I would say. So then we'll go to our... I'm also going to, again, grab the tone. Just because I try to not guess that part if I can. Alright. We'll add that here. And then let's just get a base color for the metal. And we'll get a base color for the candle. Let me see here. Alright. Just continue that a little bit, just so that all the pieces are blocked off, and then we'll paint in the difference. I know this is not accurate color. Sometimes you just have to flood the color with something random. Just to be able to... just to be able to separate things easier. Sometimes it's faster to worry about coloring it the right way later than worrying about what goes where. Alright. Grab this piece. And that should be good. We'll lock it so that we can't paint out of it. And then we'll do, we'll grab this base color for the metal. And I have not painted bronze, so we'll see how this goes. I've not painted bronze before. Playing with neon pink punk so it goes everywhere. I mean, sometimes you use neon colors so you can see them easier. I know a lot of times people will flood in with like a neon green. Just so it doesn't get in the way of anything else. Alright. This is all locked. That's good. And a little bit here with the thumb. And then we have to worry about the actual gloves here. So let's do that warmer color that we had before, that we used on Exusia. Make sure that we're getting all the fingers. There we go. And then this is going to be more of a toned down warm color for the shadow. And this is where we can start playing around a little bit. Also the thumb, since you can't really see it as well. And like I said before, your fingers are always going to be a little bit warmer on the tips, so you can always quickly do that. And then I like using this marker brush just to lay in everything very quickly. And the nice thing is that you can take our base color again, and then you can paint where the shadow is, and creates kind of a softer effect. It reduces the intensity of everything a little bit. But still keeps that shadow that we had. For her gloves, go a little bit black and maybe make it a little bit cooler. So moving the color wheel closer to that pink, right? Closer to that pinkish blue. I want the first digits, the first and second digits in the hand to be in shadow, and the third to be more in light. So that shows a bit of curvature to the hand. I'll go over it a little bit on the second layer, just so it's a little bit lighter. We'll do the same thing over here. on the thumb. And this is going to be in shadow, but then we're also going to have our cast shadow with the metal. So we've got this piece here. And we could probably get, like, more saturated blue and just have, like, well, no, maybe it doesn't really work here. If we have blue in the shadow, it'll work better. A little bit of blue in the shadow. Since this is metal, it works anyway, right? A little bit of reflection. And then let's see if I can get a slight effect here. Vishoja was greedy? Vishoja was, like, very confused, I would say. Very, very mismanaged. Alright, I'm having a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out the palm. Oh, right. Okay, actually, wait. Looking at the splash art, it seems like it makes more sense we have a little bit of our, fabric flow. If we change a bit of the fabric flow, it'll work. I wonder if they apologize for the money they were meant to give VTubers. I think at this point they're not going to say anything because it just gets into legal trouble at this rate. I imagine there's a lot of legal battles behind the scenes that we don't know about. That would be my guess anyway. It hurt itself in its confusion. Yeah, pretty much, right? Alright, let me see if I... No, I don't want to make it that light. I just want to make it a little bit lighter, but I want to try adding more blue to the shadow. To sort of soften things up and get things a little bit where they need to be in the visual differences here. There we go. Maybe if I have a little more... I'm trying to think. If I have a glove, and I'm thinking about the folds of the glove, right? We get a little bit of a highlight here, just to show the separation better. And then I think we'll make this cooler. If this is cooler, it'll probably read as more of a black glove, I think. Black is very, very, very hard to paint. Give me a sec trying to figure this one out. It's a very, very hard thing to paint. Notoriously hard to paint black clothing. So I probably need to add a little bit of in-between shadow with everything. Because it's hard to make it, like, dark enough and still show shadow color, right? If I add a little bit of in-between highlight here, then it gives a bit more of a texture feel. Which is always helpful. I have to play around with that one. Try to add a little bit more of a fold here. Alright, I don't think it's that bad. I just think that it's very hard to paint black. And if I was braver, I could probably jump in with more colors, but I don't quite know yet how I would jump in with more colors for this particular type of clothing. I'm trying to do what I can to just add in a little bit more as I see fit, but it doesn't always work. It ends up getting a little too muddy if you're not careful. Let me try to add a little bit more contrast. Let me try pushing the contrast, see if that helps. It helps a little bit, I think. Since we haven't really painted much other than the fingers, and we can do that really quickly again. Just so they don't look like they're glowing. It has a leathery texture as well, I think? Okay, that helps. That helps, actually. That helps a lot. Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be anyway. I'm struggling a little bit with the glove right now. I feel like I might have ruined the previous finger. Hang on. Let me do a... No, actually, I take it back. That's not too different. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. That actually looks better than before. A little bit of a shadow here. What material is the glove in your mind? Can't figure out if it's like a leather or a nylon hand stocking. I think I was thinking nylon at first. But that also wouldn't really make sense if you had, like, strong armor, would it? So now I'm kind of painting it a little bit more leathery. Rather than contrasting from shadow, might it not be better to have the lighting play off the candle? It also help with the fabric or leather issue if it's also a bother, I think. That is true, yeah. That is true. Could I have a little bit of like a rim light with the candle? So if I did that, then everything else has to be darker. So well, except for the hands, the glove, because it's already dark as it is. But if I did that, let me see how that would work. How would that fare? If I had like a little bit of a, keep it saturated. Not too much, but just a little bit so it is more convincingly, convincingly in a dark place, and then we'll throw an overlay of blue on it. Yeah, just a tiny bit. Nylon might track as an extension of Under Armour bodysuit thing, like the Darkness Konosuba has? Okay, I see what you're saying. I think so. Nylon would track as it protects from fire, but so does leather to a smaller extent. Grinding some specialist chips for reasons. Oh my gosh, I actually know what you mean by that. It's a miracle. Alright, let's try this. Because then we could, it's gonna be tricky to light, I feel. Let's try it. We had a very, very, very intense, like, almost white. A little bit warmer, I think. I was doing okay until I had to do candle lighting. And let's see how strong we can get, like, a bit of a warmer edge on here. Yeah, it's definitely tricky. It's definitely tricky. Can I try brushing it? Would that help? Maybe a little bit. There's actually a time where a glow effect actually is legitimate. Something like that could work. Rare moments where you can actually use a glow effect without it looking too silly. I always use glow effects, but I always have it highly desaturated. But this actually looks like a legitimate glow effect, which is uncommon. And then maybe a little bit of a bounce here in the back of the armor. I'll make this a little bit less intense. That looks good. And then we'll add a little bit more detail in the armor here. I think I did miss, like, a tiny bit here. In the... Well, you know what? That's okay, because we're going to be painting over it anyway, so we don't have to worry about the line art. So I'll just have a little piece here to make sure that everything connects around. There we go. We're getting somewhere here. And then I think I can play around with having some stronger... I can kind of play around with color when it comes to metal. Metal's one of those materials where you can be a little bit more freeform with if you want to. Because it reflects everything, right? So you're allowed to go a little bit crazier with it. A little bit crazier in the color scheme and everything. Make this a little bit darker here. I'm liking that color scheme here. A little bit of warm and cool variety without trying to go too far. Why does it not surprise me? Star's doing a rainbow every time she's allowed. Knows every single material which she's allowed. Look, I held back on other elements, didn't I? It's not a rainbow, it's just, you know, it's a little bit of color variation. Since we're talking about her, Star Wars the short. You column? Like a Greek or Roman column? You column. Why are all of your insults so Tumblr-esque? Your insults remind me so much of Tumblr, it's not even funny. Not Tumblr Top Gear. Okay, one of the best uses of Add Glow is on metal, 100%. 100% always use Add Glow on metal. It ends up, like, so magical feeling. You can't not use Add Glow on metal, it works so well. You golem would be savage? Nah, instead I'm a column, like a Greek or Roman. Am I Doric or Ionic? Okay, I am such a sucker for glow dodges on metal. It is such a nice looking technique. I can't get over how nice this looks. It's super easy to just add glow to like any metal object, but it works so nicely. It adds such a good effect. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Might have a little bit of a bias. The lighting might be a little nonsensical at this point, but you know what? It looks really nice, so I'm keeping it. The lighting could be slightly nonsensical because of the intensity of this. Let me see if I can reduce it a little bit. So it's not like... Meanwhile, the source of the light and the object with more difficult shading are not done. I know! Alright. Okay, we'll tackle the candle. Let's see. Trust me, that's gonna get definitely, like, a ton of add dodge and glow too, believe me. A little bit of the light of the candle here, we'll make this darker. And then... this we want to make a bit lighter all around. This I'm not as good at when people can do like a more muted tone with this. This is something I'm still trying to figure out, is how people do muted tones. Especially with bronze. I don't paint bronze often, you know? Alright, we'll get this piece here. I need to make this probably a little bit darker. The candle looks definitely like the most difficult element to do the shading to me. Yeah, probably. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. To make a little bit of a difference in the planes. I have to make sure the planes show. Let's see. And then I'm also gonna have to make sure that I'm adding, yeah, this definitely has more of a desaturated level than I'm used to, I think. I'm probably gonna end up painting this wavy part. I can't quite visualize it yet with how I drew it. There we go. One side is probably gonna be a little bit stronger than the other. It's still gonna have light on both sides, but one is definitely taking over slightly. Is that program? Are you allowed to change the background color for the end result? Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm just sort of keeping them all even, but yeah, I could make it all dark if I wanted to. Have it all glowy effect at the end. I might start overpainting early on this one because I think I'm gonna need to for the candle portion. I'm gonna erase a lot of this area. I think a lot of it's gonna have to be overpainted. I'm just erasing as much as I can here. Alright, and a little bit up top here, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna have to start the painting portion of it a lot sooner, I feel. I'm gonna try pushing that contrast just a little bit more. I'm not usually good with contrast, so that's something I'm trying to force myself to get better at. Really pushing the light and dark. I'm sure I'm one chip to get her to E2. Was a gun held to your head or something? I feel like a gun was held to your head. I don't know. Alright. And then let's push the brightness further. Especially on the edges here. And then, like, around the edge, like, this will have, like, more of a flat plane of light, and then around the edge, I'll still have it lit. Just because it's reflecting on a smaller surface. I love this marker so much, this marker brush. Because, like, it doesn't allow you to be super precise, and in not allowing you to be super precise, I feel like I'm able to be more free. Exusia, hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. We're working on Viviana's hand here. You had the candle or the flame just slightly, it's enough justification for light to overtake on one side, yeah. Turn it into a full artwork of Vivi? Oh my gosh. I wouldn't want to just copy her E1 if I was doing like full piece. But thank you, I appreciate that. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm always like a little bit fearful that that Arknights fans are like, they have more of a standard for art quality because Arknights has such high art quality. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's true or not, but I have a feeling, because, like, there's a lot of people who don't draw, but they're always able to give me, like, good critique. And I have a feeling that a lot of Arknights fans just, like, have a good sense of good art, because, because of how good the game's art is. I'm just moving things over a little, just so that they're a little bit, cleaner. Oh yeah, the scary and mean Arknights fans. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying, I think that, you know, you'd probably have higher standards if you're constantly surrounded by some of the best work in gacha. Because, like, you know, honestly, very understandable. But thank you, Dark Cranky. I appreciate it. We are the worst. Goodness. Look at Dorothy's A2 hand? I don't have that up right now. Hang on a sec. Okay, and E2. Oh, it's gold. Wait, I can barely see this. Oh no, it's a glove. It's a glove. it's a gold glove. Okay. Huh. You know, I was supposed to do a Sui sibling at one point. I was supposed to be doing a Sui sibling. There's a gotcha game in my music company. An Arknights fan repeatedly hit me in the head with a frisbee today, so this is true. What? Why were you being hit in the head with a frisbee? All I'm doing is throwing random ideas I can barely remember from middle school art class and a whole bunch of Unity messing around and see if it sticks. Honestly, valid. My standard for art is literally 2006 DeviantArt fan art if a robot's involved. That's funny. How could it be 2006 DeviantArt fan art? Pretty sure that Arknights is a little bit newer than 2006. No, I get what you mean though, that's funny. Man, I miss the old days of DeviantArt. I miss DeviantArt. I miss art websites that weren't terrible. I miss art websites in general, actually. How do art studies exactly work? Like, how do you learn from it instead of just simply copying it? So if you look at the... let me see if I can zoom in here. If you look at the actual hand here, you can see that it's kind of like the colors are a little bit, flatter. You've got like, it's flatter because it's not meant to be in an environmental setting. It's meant to just show off the character design. So you have like your base gray, your base black, your base hand, and then of course it's all very rendered and detailed. And then the study that I'm doing here, I'm adding like more light and reflection to the hand here. And then I was also shown this CG, which does have the same situation with the light with the hand, but you can see that I'm kind of adding a little bit of my own colors. I'm adding more blues. I'm playing around with a harsher lighting effect. I'm playing around with a harsher warms and cools. So it's kind of like taking a base idea, and then I'm also adding my own exploratory portion to it. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Also, even if I was doing just a one-to-one copy, it would still help me because it would get me an idea of why the artist made the choices that they did. There's some times where I do master studies that you've seen that are just like straight up one-to-one copy. In this case, I'm being a little bit more imaginative, but not always. Alright, I'm going to move the curvature here, just because I'm going to add it with a little bit of an overpaint. I think we're at the point now where we can do an overpaint. So I'm gonna start trying to paint over where I want it to be a little bit more wavy. I have like some variation here. Must have been a loop shooter, oh my gosh. You were playing Peak? Come to think of it, Arknights fan thing might have been incidental. It suits my narrative, so I'm running with it. Okay then. I miss the time from before AI art. Oh yeah, same here. Same here. I feel very grateful that I am, like, I feel very grateful that I have a strong part of the community that seems to very much want to support with real handmade art, which I'm very, very grateful for. Because there's so many people that have moved to AI instead of, like, paying a real artist, and it's painful. So I'm very grateful when I get to do the work that I do with real people. And I want to keep getting better at it, you know? I want to get more and more professional with it before AI just takes over entirely. Alright. A little bit more of a curvature here. Yeah, it's so annoying to deal with. I despise it, yeah. It's also really hard when I'm trying to look up reference images. Like, there's just so much AI. I will admit, I've mentioned this before on stream, this isn't really a secret, I will sometimes, like, if something's already been generated, if it is out there, if the effect has already been done, I will sometimes look at it if I need, color inspiration, just because, you know, it's taking from all the best artists, so it has a good sense of color. But other than that, it's not really helpful for anything else. It unfortunately does know a good way of color schemes. And the thing is, like, even when AI was as bad as it was, like, in DALL-E, I don't even remember what year that was, I remember before it turned into the monster that it is now, I was like, oh, this is kind of like, you know, rough general color and value abstract pieces. Kind of like looking at clouds. Like, you could take something from the idea of looking at clouds. And then it became the monster that it is today, and I'm like, oh, well, now it's less useful, actually. For a very short time, I used AI for anatomy. I think you can imagine how that went. No! The one thing I would absolutely never use it for. Jeez. I mean, there's many other things, but, like, oh my gosh, anatomy. That's not good. That's kind of funny, though. That's kind of funny, though. Yeah, I would say that, like, again, as, like, if I'm not generating it, if it's just, like, on Pinterest, I have a folder that's just called, like, bots to steal back from. Because the idea is, like, this has already been made, this has already been created, and it's already based on our work. So I'm going to take reference, and I'm going to use whatever I can, and, like, basically steal from it, you know? I have to be so careful when I say that, because there's so many people that will interpret it as, like, you use AI, and it's like, oh god, no. No, but I also have eyes, and I'm allowed to use my eyes. So I have a whole folder that's basically like, I'm stealing this back. And it doesn't mean that I draw anything in that folder. It just means that I'm like, okay, the way that these waves were done, or the way that this leaf was done, you know? Really, really basic things like that. Bots to steal back from, excuse me. Don't worry, you're not making anything for me to steal, so... The Star Criminal strikes again. I'm stealing this is the Robin Hood of art, man. This is the Robin Hood of art. Uno reverse card. Vessa's catching strays too. You're not the... How is that an ouch? You're not though. There's nothing insulting about that. You're literally not making artwork. Do you want me to steal your pond ideas? Like, I'm not taking anything from you, because you haven't taken anything from me. You're hurting Vessa's star? But Vessa hasn't taken anything from me. You're making it worse. His heart is breaking. I don't... Oh... Oh my gosh. Vessa villain arc starts now. Vessa's already a villain. Vessa's already canonically villain. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of never entirely sure between villain or, anti-hero. Hello, Star, who did you hurt? I didn't hear. I didn't hurt anybody. Vessa's getting baited into posting the drawings that he can't draw. It's a matter of who the AI is taking from, and Vessa has not taken any art from me, so there's nothing to take back. I've gifted him art, but that's very different. This is not being the Tax King and the Robin Hood story, you know? All the frustration of stars bubbling up, everyone hide? What are you talking about? Vessa, please tell. Actually, yes, you should make a pond too. But I wouldn't steal your design for the pond. That's different. That's making something in tandem with someone. That's still very different. Who's Little John in the story? I have not gotten that far. I want to be the Fat Friar. Oh my gosh. Why are... My comments are weirdly appearing and disappearing, and I don't know why. Vessa, please! Stop! Stop! Vessa! I just said it would be different if I was building a pond alongside- You have nothing to cry about! There's nothing- I'm not taking anything from you. I'm not saying that I wouldn't- I'm not comparing you to an AI art bot. I'm saying you're better than one, and you don't fall under that bad criteria. I don't understand why you're upset. How could you, Star? Can only be cheered up by Star getting an aquarium now? That's a very expensive idea to cheer you up. I'm worth it. How mean of me? Why? She needs to paint an art piece for the fishies. I painted art piece for the fishies. I painted fishies. Does that count? How is it possible you have a folder to steal from AI but not from Vesa and still call Vesa better? Because... What? How could I call Vesa better if I have a folder for from the AI to steal from? Because I don't want to have to steal from an AI, and Vesa doesn't have art to... I don't... What kind of question is that? Because Vesa didn't steal in the first place. Vesa didn't steal in the first place, so there's nothing to steal back. Good answer. I'm only taken from the immoral. And Vesa's not immoral. I think it's fine for any artist to basically take any reference or tool that they need from the AI because, I mean, not need. No artist should need AI, but I'm saying, like, if there's any part of it that is already generated, again, keyword already generated, and it's just there for you to look at to see if something maybe used a good color scheme or was rendered a decent way, since it's all taken from, like, you know, Ghibli and high-end work, then if you can take anything from it to your benefit, then I don't see anything wrong with that. But Vesa doesn't have anything that I need to take back in the art community. So therefore, like, Vesa's more morally superior. This isn't good enough for you? It's not a matter of that. There's not a product. There's not an object. There's not an item. I'm gonna go back to the hand at hand. Not sure it's on purpose, but the candle holder base looks closer to horn ivory color, which I think fits Vivi better than bronze or brass. How did that happen? So much cope to cover star crimes. Star, you keep digging your own grave. Are you a shovel? Are you? I know that... I don't even know how to respond anymore. How do you respond to being told, are you a shovel? Like, what do you want me to say to that? What is the answer to that? Stop it! Is Star Soccer a shovel? Why do you do this? Why do you do these things? Why is it even? Star's 3 Diglets stacked on top of each other. Wouldn't that just be a sideways Dugtrio? I'm so confused why Vesa's upset. All-Star saying Vesa hasn't stolen anything from people, so there's nothing to take back from. Thank you! Thank you! Someone who gets it! I think they're joking, but they're teasing me so hard that it makes it hard to tell. I think it's just a ploy to reduce my sanity to 0. Paid chatter? Paid chatter? Are you kidding me? Paid chatter. Really? Raul, are you serious right now? Paid chatter, he says. Are you kidding me? Being bullied by your chat is part of being a VTuber? Yeah, but sometimes you guys are ruthless. Not even like 10 minutes into stream and I was already called a sock. We need 0 sanity bakadoodle? What would that even look like? What is a 0 sanity bakadoodle? That word alone just scares me. I think it's funny I say the dumbest things and you go on trying to defend yourself for 15 minutes. Because everyone else is dogpiling on me. You say a funny random thing and then everyone else jumps on and then what am I supposed to do after that? I'm just chilling? Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe I'll let off once you pull aroma? I can't. Clearly I'm unable to. I don't have the ability. Have you noticed that? Witchcrafting fox for anything but aroma. Curse of Raoul stops aroma pulse, duh. Exactly. Exactly. Also, I think that Curse of Raoul is probably one of the funniest things you've ever come up with. I have to say. The emojis just make it. If there's something you don't like, please say clearly. No, you guys are good. You're just a little crazy. A little crazy, but all good. Raoul especially. I E2'd waifu, I'm safe. Curse of the Fair Raoul. Oh my gosh. I can't believe blank. Alright, I need to start adding, like, I need to start actually adding fire to this candle. Stark not legally E2 waifu, because then she loses blackmail leverage over Usako. My gosh. Let's see what I have here. Okay, I need to make a little bit of a opening here with the color. There we go. That'll work. And keep eating candy and asking for Starfire Discord sticker. Talking about the Discord, did you know we have a safe reward? Thank you, Seko, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're new here, if you haven't joined the Discord, definitely consider it. If you're interested in more absolute insanity and chaos, then that is the best place for it, really. That is definitely where we have more of our insanity. How do you approach doing master studies, by the way? I've seen some videos recommending you to do it, but it just seems so daunting. I don't know how I'd learn from it. It's good just to do as practice, even if what you're doing doesn't come out, like, perfectly how you want it. It's still just a really good idea to do it anyway, because it just helps you get into the artist's mind. So basically, I'm just starting from a sketch, and I'm adding the color I see. I'm doing my best not to color pick, because I think that the best master studies are when you are... I mean, I color picked for the skin tone, but I try my best to not color pick other areas, because I feel like you learn more by not color picking, right? You're kind of learning more about, regular color theory if you don't color pick. But I'm just sort of seeing, like, what the artist has that they're doing. I need to make this whole thing a little bit smaller because I can't fit in the shine of the candle. You're really just starting with, like, a sketch, and then you're, sort of adding in the layers as you go. This is for Discord VC. We could have spammed the Order of White Zirconian now. Jeez. Join the Discord for new and novel ways to torment the prismatic kitsune. I become a stargazer today. Okay, jeez. Why would you advertise it that way? Alright, we're at least getting closer along with the candle. Blank has me sold and I'm already in there. Wow, okay. Let me try to at least make some progress on this candle. Color pick? Oh, are you asking what color pick is? Sorry. Color pick is like when you are using a digital art program and you're just using an eyedropper tool, which is a tool in the toolbar in most art programs, and it just like automatically changes the color to whatever you're choosing. So if I just go to the illustration reference here, right, and I say that I want the yellow of the hair, and then I just color pick it, then my wheel is just gonna automatically go to it. So if I get red, it's just gonna automatically pick from the red. If I grab the black, it's gonna automatically pick the black. So by not doing that, by just doing it on my own, by moving around the wheel and choosing my own colors, I get a better sense of color theory and then seeing how close it is to the original. We have lots of clips of Star doing weird noises and some about sending children to war. Oh. I... 11 out of 10 advertisement would join. Need an Uncle Sam poster rendition with Prism? Why is the poll even? Why is the silly poll even? There's 2 votes for sock, 0 for shovel on your end. I'm seeing it say 2 for each. I see that it shows 2 for each. Why at all? I don't know. But that's what I'm seeing anyway. You're a sock now. Why does this end up being a thing? Is this a Twitch or Discord poll? I believe he's doing it on Twitch. Star won't let me make polls on YouTube. I physically don't have the ability to. There is no way to let a moderator do polls on YouTube. It's dumb, and YouTube is not aware that streamers want to do things on their platform. I don't know why YouTube still hasn't caught up to, like, all the stuff Twitch has. But yeah, you can't... Only the actual, broadcaster can do YouTube stuff. It's really dumb. I don't know why. Why? Did you want to see if it would be different on Discord? They're actually protecting you specifically from Vessa's polls. Can you make a poll yourself asking if you'd be a sock or a shovel? No! Will we have a third hand this stream? How are you feeling? I could try to go for a quick one. I think I spent a little bit more time on this one. I got a little distracted by some things, and, it's fine. Yeah, I could probably, I can probably do a third one. Who should we go for third? I don't think there's a point in doing a wheel just for one, but what do you guys think? Doing a third one might be a bit of a handful. Oh my gosh. Incredible. Truly incredible right there. Alright, let me just get a little bit of a final glow effect here on the edge. Let me see if I can do that. See if I can do that very subtly. Just on the edge here. Alright, and then I want to add a little bit of an eraser effect. Whoa! Siam Zero. Thank you for following and subscribing on the Twitch side. Was that just so that you could participate in the polls? Goodness. It starts with an A and ends with another A. I like the professional in the title and hearing sock versus shovel. Oh my gosh. Oh. DHLPH, thank you very much for following the Twitch side too. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I'm leaving early today. See you next stream. Alright, Weston Fox. I will see you, maybe Saturday. I'm scared of Saturday's stream, I'm not gonna lie. But have a good rest of your day. Thank you for stopping in and, embracing the absolute insanity here. Thank you for embracing the absolute insanity. This is getting out of hand. Now there's 2 of them. Oh my gosh. A Lupa with brown and blue hair. Gosh. I don't know who you mean. I'm not sure who you're referring to. I'm kind of curious, actually, for this one. What would happen? It's probably gonna look a little bit rough around the edges because I haven't cleaned it up entirely, but what would happen here if I... Not bad, not bad. Let me see. If we did one more layer here real quick. Make like a little bit of a underside here real quick, just so you can see everything. Make it a little less intense so it's not crazy, but... Someone mentioned a darker background. I think that works. Nobody is sane here. Alright, Weston Fox, have a good rest of your day. Saturday stream will be legendary if Star will only do one stage and that's all. I don't know. I won't get mad at Weston Fox since he said he's insane while throwing the fact. Have a good night, Seko. Have a good night. I like this. I think that the candle here works well with the darker background. Alright. We're going to export that one. Title this with Viviana. I think if I speed up the next one, we can probably get one more in. And I'll just quickly export the time-lapse. Saturday stream, read story, make 0 progress. Was saying good night to, what's... Okay. Gotcha. I got burger, so can't reply while eating, sitting here and listening. Alright, sounds good. Enjoy burger. Alright. I got this one. So that should be set, so we can reset that one. Alright, we're gonna call this one... Oh, come on. What? I want to rename it! Viviana? There we go. And then we'll do one more here. Save as. Making sure that we still have the regular file set up. Okay, we're good to go. Looks absolutely gorgeous, like I want to put a ring through the monitor. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad. Simon Zero gifted you a burger to help the pain of all the bullying? What? What are you talking about? How did chapter 6 go, by the way? I had to go after the whole 6-5 mountain situation. Oh. I would think it was hilarious if you had actually been, like, leaving the stream specifically because of Mountain. Oh. Goodness. What is happening right now with MG and Raffle? Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, you know what? Hang on a sec. I'm going through the refs here. I am going through the refs. Let's see here. Scotty hand, I promise it's a good pose. Is it a skin? Is it E1 or versus E2? Because I actually have a ref of her here, and she has an interesting glove. I'm just saying story-wise, I didn't mean to bring PTSD by mentioning that. Oh no, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Yeah, I'm trying to remember where we've... Sorry, I'm getting confused here. Second skin holding an apple? Alright, let me see if I can look it up, because I only have Scotty's E1 here. So let me grab the skin art. Is it a, no, not a beach one. Oh, okay. Wait, am I gonna be able to see this? This is actually hard to see. It's the wrong one. Alright, that's okay. It's gonna kind of be like, Viviana's, where it's a little bit fuzzy, but that's alright. Yeah. You know, because Aroma got to have a bean, so we'll have Scotty for this one. Let me hold- Summon Osako, she holds you a gunpoint for waifu. Yeah, in, story-wise, I had a bit of a time. Story-wise, I had a bit of a time with chapter 6. I'm nervous with Saturday's stream, I'm not gonna lie. To make a different pose than the ones we've done? Scotty mostly holds her hands in the art, which is hides her hands in the art. Okay. Post in case you need higher definition. Oh, let me check that out real quick. Where is that? Is that in my... Oh wow, that is much higher definition, thank you! How did you do that? Wait, that's extremely higher definition, how... What are your sources? I was not expecting that much higher definition. That is very nice. Their sites using in-game assets? Oh, okay. In-game source is the best definition? They knew a guy. No, that's actually really good though. That was an in-game screenshot? Oh, that could be it too. Let me copy this over. Is that with a generic glove, or is that with her, like, designed glove? I guess it's more generic in this one. Because she has, like, a really nice designed glove. I think this is just sort of a generic glove from what I can tell. Why did you call me a building? You moved from column to building. What does that mean? What does that mean if I'm first called a column? What does it mean if I go from sock to shovel to column to building? Do you plan to jump to side story after 7 or 8? Something tells me I'm probably going to try to do Wallamond after 7. And then the rest remains to be seen with what people suggest. The default way Stargaze achieve or procure anything is through dark ritual and sacrifice. How do you think I created the chat overlay? We're building Rome? Is that where the is that where the name comes from? Is that where the insults come from? To go from a sock to a column to a building is you trying to build back Rome? You got an interesting way of building things, I have to say. Alright. Let's get one more in here. This is more of a daytime, so this should be more natural light, I think. But be interested to paint the apple. Well, it wasn't built in a day. Oh. How come you guys have puns and I'm not allowed to have puns? Who splashes this? We have a fashion skin for Scotty here, I believe. It's called Double Standards. Guess I need to catch up on some stream. What stream did you do after you ended the first one in the beginning of chapter 6? What stream did you do after you ended the first one in the beginning of chapter 6? I think I just kept moving forward with the story? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Hang on. If you're... okay. How was this hand position? Oh, okay, okay. I see. I think. Hang on. Yeah, the pinky is in front of the ring finger there. Or something like this. As I said, if there's something, other hand, was better, don't feel forced to draw this one. No, it's fine. I think this works. Plus I haven't done anything related to Scotty for you, so I feel like at this point we can. If you'd like though, I can take this pose and try to do it on her more iconic glove, so it's not just like a one-to-one copy. Cause I was looking at the glove design. I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting design. Where's her thumb? Wouldn't we at least see the base from the angle? I think we can here. I believe it's right here. That's kind of the base of the thumb from what I can tell. So it's kind of appearing on this side. Hang on, I need to get my regular brush here. And then it would probably be like here, but it's being hidden by the apple. So let's get the shape of the apple here. And then let's get What is... Okay, I'm trying to imagine. I am not very good at imagining the apples, so I'm trying my best here. You do? I feel bad if I took too long. You said you do the last hand fast. Emphasis on fast. It's all good. Would I be able to figure it out? Or would it be a little tricky? Might be a little bit tricky, but that's... because I have to sort of flip it around in my head. Is there a compass on it? It looks like her glove has a compass on it. At least what looks like a compass. Interesting. Yeah, it probably wouldn't show up that well either, though, since it's at, on a side view. Instead of aroma, I'll suggest waifu. Even since Usako's been cursed with no waifu art, even though she drew me bald. I have in an MS Paint drawing. I do both in an MS Paint drawing. In a Bakadoodle. Alright, we'll just do the basic love for now then. You know what I might... Alright, what's the... How does her... Okay. So one thing I was thinking is that next stream, what might be interesting is doing, like, the same situation, but with eyes. Because, look, eyes, hands, these are all things artists need to study, right? Waifu definitely has very striking eyes. Why don't we do, eyes for waifu next stream? How does that sound? Noted. The thing hanging from her hand is her hair, if that's what you mean? I thought it was, because I'm looking at the cropped version. I thought it was a ribbon for a second. But I'm looking at the cropped version, I wasn't paying attention. No, I see that. I see that now. I was just looking at the cropped version, so it looked different to me. This pose is also very similar to Hamlet in his monologue. Oh, fair. Interesting. I still don't know anything about Scotty because I haven't done any of those side stories or anything. But the Grani event and the island event, were those have like extra story in the challenges? Are those fine to read? Should those be avoided, or are those okay to read? Yeah, Heart of Searching Flames, sorry. I couldn't remember everything. I still feel like someone who's like, you know, stepping into their first Pokemon game, but it's like black and white or something, so you've still missed out on like 4 or 5 generations. You need to read Stultiferia Navis. It's the next one of the 2 imprescindible side storylines. I don't know what the order is for those things, but... Or do you mean that those connect to the... Okay. Are you saying that I should save that for when I'm at that point? So that they can all sort of connect together at the same time? You can read all that's left from Arknights' memoir in the archives? I think I did, because I think there was only one other challenge story for that one. For eyes, maybe one of Nami's children. I love how soft she draws them. I could try. Yeah, Nami has a really interesting eye art style for sure. I don't want to necessarily do like full copying of someone else's art style, at least not for these. There's other times where I'll do like, I straight up want to study this artist. Like I did a study of Dino at one point. Dino is an artist who is known for doing Hololive work, but they also were doing a ton of Vulpes Foya fan art recently. Ironically. Followed them for Hololive. Is that gonna be too long? Might be a little too long? Maybe not. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's probably good. Juju or Mizuke? Pepe has weird eyes, I think. Well, I'm guessing they're like cat eyes. Those only connect much later. It's a trio of Undertides, Still to Pharaoh Novice, Path of Life, Ladder which hasn't even had its rerun, and goes into some late game lore. Okay, noted. I can always wait on that. So Heart of Surging Flame is fine, but then hold off on Grani. I think I saw one extra for Heart of Surging Flame. I believe I read on stream, but I was extremely confused. I didn't really like... I had a feeling that I wasn't supposed to read it at the time I did, but it's okay. I was just very confused with most of it. You read Grani too? Okay. I don't think there was... I think only the first 3 had extra stories in the challenge modes, right? Oh, also, MG, you would know this for sure. Because I know that we were talking about reading the, operator records when you get them to E2. Is it fine to read Cantas? Because I know that we said that, like, 3 stars are safe. But I feel like you would know best if Canta's okay for reading. Yeah? Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. I'm not entirely following the apple design here. I'm going a little bit, offhand with the apple. I'm making it look a little bit more realistic. Just because, like, you know, artists always have to paint apples. Like, I do somewhat remember what an apple looks like. I can't see or rotate an apple in my head. But if I start drawing it on paper, then I know what it's supposed to look like. It's weird, honestly. Can't rotate it, but I still know what it should be. Tablet safe? Alright, sounds good. You read everything left of Arknights' memoir in the archives, and more when you finish Chapter 7. For instance, right now you could read Twilight of Wellman, Suzerain. Yeah, so... we'll probably be finishing Chapter 7 Saturday. Everything left of Arknights' memoir in the archives. So that's the extra, which I think we already did, because I think that was the one with the story with the side story with the children. I think we've already gone through that part. An apple a day keeps Dr. Starlight away. Jeez. You're also making the hand look better, so maybe a spheric apple as weirdly shaped as that would be weird. The side story with the children. Yeah, Arknights memoir. Wasn't that like the extra part? I'm gonna head out and try to catch up on the previous streams. Good luck with the study. Thank you, I appreciate it. Also, if you ever have any questions in regards to, like, doing master studies or anything, hit me up, because I really like doing master studies. I can give you a lot of info and tips and tricks on master study stuff. Be happy to help out with that if you'd like. Alright. We'll throw our color in here. I can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna throw in the flat color for now. But yeah, I never knew this technique with, like, just doing a sketch and then coloring it and then painting over it, and I really, really love this. I know it probably doesn't seem like a huge deal, or might just seem really confusing, but in terms of, like, order of way that you do art, it is making a very big difference in my productivity level. You should better start painting the apple if you don't want to get copyright strike by Apple Computer. Yeah, Arknights, with the W story, yeah. I remember there being a point at the end where she's talking to the two children. Side note, the shape of the apple in the reference makes you think it was modeled after Red Delicious, which if so is a disgrace. It does have the shape of a Red Delicious, you are right. Should we get sued by Apple and make this one look more like a Macintosh? Alright, let's get our base here. Let me also just quickly, add in some base color for the apple here. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll keep it the same color, but it's not the same shape. Will do. I do have a question about positive and negative space in the Discord, and didn't want to flood the chat with only my questions. So yeah, we'll do. Yeah, no worries, no worries. If you already put it in the Discord, I might not have seen it. But if you ever have, like, if you ever want to discuss art-related stuff, feel free to, like, spam Creative Cafe. It's all good. I think it's a Death Note reference. Maybe? You think the skin is a Death Note reference? Also calling Mac by its full name. No, because I was referring to the actual fruit. You always complain about line art, indeed. And Neo said something about it, I think, too, remember. Yeah, no, line art is the bane of many artists' existence, so if you can find anything that, like, avoids your line art problems, then it's a blessing. It is an absolute blessing if you can... Yeah, I do complain about line art a lot. You're absolutely right about that. Line art is just a very painful process, and a lot of art styles do require it, right? Like I was saying earlier, if you're doing animation or if you're doing comics or whatever, like line art can end up being necessary and essential. But if you're doing something like fine art painting, you don't have to do line art. But yeah, line art is horrible. We don't like doing line art. I've tried many different types of line art. I'm like, oh, if I do it this way, maybe I won't hate it. If I do it this way, maybe I can tolerate it. If I do it this way, maybe I'll find a simpler style. And every time I end up not enjoying it, or not finding the right rhythm for it, or something. And I'm like, I'm just not meant to do line art. Love the skin, by the way. There's so much detail. There is, yeah. It's nice. Also nice to see this intimidating character sort of being, like, more of an open, space. Well, I mean, she also has the beach skin, but... The other thing about not doing line art is, like, it doesn't have to be precise. It doesn't have to be super precise. So nice. Can make it any other breed of apple, it's just red delicious or a crime against flora and food. Fair. Beachin give us the plushie weapon, which I also love. I did see that, yeah, that's really fun. Alright, can I do, like, maybe a warm... Yeah, there we go. Very warm, muted pink gets us our good warm tones for the highlight. Which is a good alternative to instead just having, like, you know, lines. Yeah, if I can keep doing this kind of stuff, then maybe I'll actually eventually get to the point where I could make a convincing-looking original CG. Someday. Because, like, I feel like most of the Arknights artists are using this technique, honestly. Since so much of the Arknights work that I look at is also very rough. Like, the line art is not super clean there either. And I think it's by design. A lot of the CGs especially. You did a sin? What did you do, Vessa? How can you have done a sin already? You eated too many food. Is that a sin? Gluttony? Why did you eat too many food? Was there a reason you had to eat too many food? Quite literally a deadly sin. 'Cause stupid? Why? He mixed fabrics. Oh no. This is the main song that I always forget that I'm listening to Arknights. whenever I hear this one. I'm like, this is just my regular playlist. And then I'm like, I 100% always forget this is from Arknights. Because that's just the stuff I listen to, like, regularly. I never remember. Blank is right? It's a Death Note reference? Really? It's, like, actually intentionally supposed to be a Death Note reference? It's probably an Exusia reference. Alright, I think now that we've, like, pushed this towards a warmer color, then we'll do, like, a few more highlight pieces here, really push that warmth. And then, in the background, also, you see it's also, using the warm color like a pink. It does a good job reflecting on the apple. And then in the shadow, we'll do more of a cyan. I had a weird dream earlier. I thought Aroma was Uma Musume, and after 95 pulls, I got her, and I speedran her career 56 times. I've never even played Uma. I think that's your sign, no? I think that's clearly your sign. Scotty's nothing like Death Note. Artist may have added that for funsies as a reference. That's fair, yeah. Also, I like how you I like how you wrote start first. Alright, can I add like a little bit? I'm trying to not ruin the tone that I have here. If I add like a little bit of shadow here. Nah, I'm not really feeling that, I guess. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe if I do it more of like a maroon. Or not maroon, but like a... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Something like that, and then maybe on the other end. Maybe actually like more of a red. Since we're dealing with the actual apple here. Alright. Now make it so intense. And then we can actually paint the actual portion of the apple. I've just done eye study, had some fun doing it. Heck yeah! I think I'm probably gonna do eye studies next stream. I was talking about that earlier. I'm like, I think we should do the same thing, but with eyes instead of hands. I think I'm actually more comfortable drawing hands than I am eyes. Because eyes are like a weird thing where you can add like as much detail as you want and it can never really end. If you don't want it to, you could just keep going with the detail. Eyes are a weird thing, especially with anime, because everyone kind of expects the eyes to be more detailed. You know what I mean? In beginner, it feels like I hit a brick wall whenever I get to something hair-related. Is hair supposed to be hard to draw? Hair is absolutely hard to draw, yeah. Hair is hard to draw because it needs to be understood in shapes. Best way that I can think of explaining hair is think of it as if it's like a ribbon. So, if you're doing something hair-related, imagine that, like... You know what? Hang on a sec. Let's... Do we have the regular one here? Give me a second here. You have to think of hair in basic shapes. So, if we think about... This is a little bit rough, but it's okay. It still works. If we just have our head, right? You have to think of hair as, like, pieces of ribbon. So, let's get, Scotty's main head down here. And then you need to think of where the parting line is. You can't really see the parting line in this view because she's kind of tilting her head up a little bit, hiding the parting line. But if you just see, like, where it's flowing down from here, we can think, okay, there's a chunk here. There's this part going down. And I'm just going to sort of base in the rough shape. She's got sort of the bangs that go here in front of her eyes. I'm sort of going to try to base out where her eyes are real quick. And then the main thing is that when you get to these parts here on the bottom, hair is like a ribbon, and then the base of all the hair together is like a sheet of paper. So I will make this clearer in just a sec. I'm just trying to get this base down here so you can see. And there's a little bit here. She's got, okay. Eyes are here. Might not be super accurate because I'm just working really fast. She's got a little bit of a mouth here. Again, might not be super accurate because I'm just trying to work fairly quick here to get the idea down. And then this piece here with the hairband, with the, oh my gosh, words. With the ponytail. And this actually also shows it really well, so I'm gonna try copying this part here. Okay. How should I do this to explain it best? Alright. Looks like a giant apple now. Give me a sec. Because I need to start doing this on 2 different sides real quick to explain this. Because I want to see what happens. I want you to see what happens when I draw it versus when I draw over it as an existing thing, okay? So, we're going to grab this piece here. And I'm going to point out what I'm doing on both sides, both times, okay? So, there's 2 things we can look out for here. One is you can see where the highlight turns. So that shows that there's like a turn of the hair, right? Here would be the highlight, and then here's where the shadow is. If the sun is hitting this part. And then the other thing in terms of breaking it up, we're going to use bright colors so that we can see. So I'm going to say, like, here where the shadow is. Or where the highlight is, sorry. I'm trying to talk while thinking at the same time. I'm going to base this part here. Oh, shoot. Did I not crop the part I wanted? I didn't crop the part I wanted. Hang on. A little bit of technical difficulty. I cropped a little too fast. Alright. I want this end piece, because this is important. Okay. I'm gonna do this in bright again. I'm gonna do a line separating the highlight and the shadow, right? So let's put our lighter part here. And then we're gonna do the shadow in, let's say, like a blue so that we can see it. Right? So this part here, etc. Now what this is creating is this is creating like a ribbon effect. So if you think of like a ribbon on a present, right? You got this side of the ribbon, and then you've got the underside of the ribbon. Can you understand that? Got like this part up here, and then this part down here. This is a twisted ribbon. So what it's doing here in my little goofy drawing, I have this piece up here, and then I have the cyan in the back, and we're creating that twist. And this twist of the ribbon gives a lot of volume to the hair. Once we have this basic shape, we can always just, you know, add our little highlights on the top or whatever. But the main thing is that you've got the two volumes. So this also stays fairly similar, right? This is all in one plane. And then when we get over here, where we have this piece sticking out, we get back to the back of the hair here. And this is creating, again, that ribbon formation. So this is our front of the hair. And then this is our back of the hair. It's still creating a ribbon. We got this part here. We got this part here. And on the official art, we've got this part in the front here. And this part in the back. So the main thing is that when you're doing these, when you're doing hair, your main thing is figuring out your basic shapes. So I'll separate the shapes again here just so it's easier to see. This is a basic shape here. This is a basic shape here. This is a basic shape here. And it cuts over because we're dealing with this ribbon situation on the other end. Let me know if you are having a hard time seeing it, but basically these are all straight. This is one plane. You can just think of this as like a sheet of paper. A sheet of paper and a ribbon are the same. The only difference is how wide they are. So if you're doing this piece of the ponytail here, then you just have more of like a ribbon situation. If you just practice drawing these ribbons, you'll understand how people are making this like super dynamic anime hair in a lot of illustrations that you see. Once you can get this ribbon shape down, it'll solve a lot of issues for you. And then the only difference here is that in the back that we drew over here, because this is all of the hair behind here that you can't see. There's all this hair that you're unable to see behind her face. This is taking up a lot more room. And that is just a sheet of paper. So that would then just be like, let's say, this piece with a little bit of the corner, right? So that corner is the piece of hair that you can see in the front. And then this back sheet of the paper is where the back of the head is. And if you just think of the paper and the ribbon, it will make understanding hair forms so much easier. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. You explain it crystal clear? I'm glad. Yeah, I like explaining hair. I feel like I can do a decent job with explaining hair. Not that I am the best at doing, like, the super wild, crazy illustrations you've seen with hair. But I think that in terms of the basic ribbon technique, I think that helps a lot. Also, if you look at my hair or Yu's hair, because Yu has the same situation, right? Let's take a chibi, just to simplify it, just so you kind of know what you're seeing. I could do an entire stream just breaking down different weird things on operators, if you ever want that. So for you, for instance, right? With these, with the M-bangs that we both have, this is a really, really clear way of seeing this paper shape, right? It's a folded over technique. And then you see the underside of it here. So that equivalent is a slightly thicker piece of paper. Imagine if you had like a little bit of a paper folded, right? And then this is the underside of the paper. And it's just a sheet of paper that you're folding. So it's literally just if we had, you know, a flat sheet of paper, and then we're looking at it from the side, and we're just sort of bending it. And then the 3D version of it is this shape. And that's how you end up getting used M-bangs here. As a punishment for the star crime of yapping, you must do a master's study of Toy Mario since you like hair so much. Ah, pain. Oh, that was pretty helpful. I'm glad. Also hello W, welcome in. Just draw them bald? No, that's Usaku's job. And we don't necessarily want to encourage it. How do you explain the couch hair? That's just like, that's just weighted down. That's just gravity. What? I'm never going to draw that in my life. No, that's terrible. Hang on, I'm catching up with chat here. I'm trying to see if there's any, anything here that I need to... Yeah. I'm amazed when someone can make hair with volume without it looking puffed up. It's hard to try to find that balance, I think. You can't even draw the ribbon? The ribbon is a shape that you just have to keep practicing over and over until it becomes second nature. And if you need, get a sheet of paper. Just get like a real sheet of paper. And cut like a 1-inch piece off of it. Horizontally or vertically. Just get like a strip off the paper. And then just bend it with your hands. And then just draw, like, bend it with your hands and then see what it's doing. And just see, like, the plane, the top of it and the bottom of it. Even just right top or bottom if you have to, even though it's, like, it'll probably be pretty obvious to you. And just twist it. And then just draw that twisted version of it. And you'll eventually understand the ribbon feeling. Hello, Reza. Did you inspire your name from The Boys? I did not, no. I did not. Good to see you, though. Not our light shall become our lamppost. Oh, no. Alright, anyway. Just so I don't get in more trouble for all the confusion. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I really like doing this kind of explanation, so if I can do it with operators, then I'm happy to do it. No, we're not gonna draw operators bald. It is not something I'm gonna participate in. Any YouTube tutorials? Do I have YouTube tutorials? Is that what you're asking? Or are you asking if I recommend any tutorials? I don't have, like, any super structured tutorials, because I don't know how to edit. I probably should do more where I just, like, draw something on a stream and then just, like, toss it up as a video, but I'm not good at that. I'm trying to get better at that. I'm not very good at that now. Not ironically, I had to draw ribbons in my career sometime. It's like, it's confusing at first, because it kind of messes with your head. Am I allowed to ask why? Like, why you had to draw ribbon? I have to draw ribbon a lot, like, when I have to draw celebratory pictures. If I'm, like, trying to draw in confetti or something. I do have a tutorial for drawing and painting landscapes, yeah. No one... very, very few people watched that. I think it was too long. But that was like a full, start to finish on landscape drawing. I don't know how to make, like... I don't know how to make, tutorials that people would actually want to watch, but I was literally thinking, like, wow, if I ever just did something that was, like, all, like, Arknights themed, maybe I could do it that way. Because there's an endless well of inspiration that you can get from the official art, honestly. In so many different aspects, in so many different ways. Like, it's kind of funny, because I used to use this to describe Pokemon. I used to say, wow, Pokemon is like one of the best IPs because you could draw anything from Pokemon and you could learn any technique in drawing with Pokemon, and now I'm just like, oh wait, same can be applied to Arknights. Kind of amusing that way. And I don't think, like, every franchise can say that, but I think that both Pokemon and Arknights can say that. I think a lot more gachas can say it, but not always in the same ways. I'm trying to get, like, a little bit of a... Nah, that should probably be more of a purple. Maybe a little bit lighter. That's a weird looking burger? Who said I was drawing a burger? It's confusing and first it messes with your head. Literally a description of my whole career. Topology especially. Oh, I see, I see. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense then. I can see that that would be very confusing then. I'm trying to think if I need any other... Well, probably backward. Probably like there's a little bit of shine here backwards, so probably add that real quick. I'm using that marker and I don't have the best control of it, but I still like it. Important question? Yeah, shoot. A vegan burger. Am I drawing with a pen or a mouse? I am drawing with a pen. I have tried drawing with a mouse before for joke streams, and those gave me carpal tunnel. So unfortunately, I no longer do streams where I draw with a mouse. I used to do it for fun, and I can't do it anymore. Like, I physically, I get in a lot of pain if I try. I now don't use a regular mouse. I now use a vertical mouse because of that situation. Yeah, there was a point where I did too much mouse drawing stream or like fast drawing stream. And I did it so much that I like seriously messed up my hand. So now I use a vertical mouse and I don't do time challenge art drawing anymore. That was not fun. That was 2 months of not being able to draw. That was not good. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Do not do that. Alright, and then we'll add a little bit of a softer blue here. Alright. How do you draw on a tablet? I have one with a screen, but I did used to start off without the one with a screen. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't be able to do one without a screen. You can, but what no one tells you is that it takes a few weeks or like a month or two to get used to it. And no one ever mentions that, so a lot of people, they'll get like a screenless tablet, and then they'll just go, oh, I am not good at digital art, I'm just not going to use a tablet, or I'll buy the one with a screen. You actually can get used to it. It just takes a while, and no one ever tells anyone that. Like, I couldn't do it now. If I had to go back to a screenless tablet, I would have to spend some time to adjust. But if I had to, I could go back to it. I have to learn the coordination. Exactly, exactly. It's all about the coordination element of it. Eva's exactly right about that. Alright, that's probably as far as I'll be able to do. Star, would you draw a wig for the Tin Man? He would love that. Oh my gosh. I don't know anything about Tin Man. It's like typing without looking at the keyboard? Exactly, yeah. The pain is real. I even have to buy ergonomic mouse and keyboard, unable to ride a motorbike for 3 whole months due to CTS. Yeah, exactly. Very, very true. Yeah, vertical mice are interesting. I think it kind of makes more sense because you're naturally... A vertical mouse, is kind of the natural way to be using your hand because the way that a vertical mouse works is you hold it as if you're shaking someone's hand. So it's like you're basically, you're kind of like shaking someone's hand when you hold it, and it's like a more natural way on your wrist, and it doesn't like cause the same issues. I'm gonna use it as an opportunity to learn to draw with another part of your body. I tried drawing with my left hand. That did not work. It's perfect? Yay, I'm glad. Alright, this one is a little bit more thick on the lines. I didn't really paint over this one as much, but you know what? I think it works. I think we were actually able to clean it up, like, as is. And I think it works. Dealing with a bunch of devices while streaming and reading chat must be hard. It takes some practice. It's something I did not immediately know how to do, for sure. Yeah, they do definitely look wonky, for sure. Did you design your VTuber? Yeah, I'm what's called self-incarnated. So sometimes you ask a VTuber, like, oh, did you design, draw, etc.? I'm considered self-incarnated, which means that yes, it's all on my own. Does that mean you've been shaking hands with all the hands you've been trying? I don't know. I remember one of your classmates in your high school art class loved drawing with their feet, and I was like, weird, but okay. They paint with a brush being held by their toes, and they were dang good at it too. I saw one person who, was in some sort of, like, medical accident, and they were doing some, like, figure drawing, painting, gesture studies, and they wanted, like, $1,000 for them, and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty high for something that's, like, kind of more of, like, a rough sketch. And then I read the situation, and then I read that he was doing it with his feet, and I'm like, okay, no, get as many commissions as you can. That is very understandable. Like, that's incredible. Okay, you're dealing with something super rough, and then you're still making it work. More power to you. 100% support you in that. Charge $2,000 if you have to. Like, that is very understandable. Yeah, no, I'm a kitsune. I'm a fox. First work on an Abyssal Hunter by Starlight, it is a hand. It is at least a... I wish it was a little bit more recognizable, but it works. You know, we'll work with it. You gonna draw more hands? I think that this is probably where I will wrap up for today, but I can do another series of these if we want to. I think next week it might be interesting to do eyes. I think that there's a lot of different eyes that we could do. I have not had as much practice drawing eyes, so I think that that would be a good one to do. Have you not seen her ears? She has 2 Empire State Buildings for ears. Wow, would you say that to Vulpes Foya too? My goodness. Alright. I will see you guys, Saturday. I'm nervous about Saturday. I'm gonna have to see how Saturday goes. We'll see how that turns out, I suppose. But yeah, I'll see you Saturday. If you've not yet joined the Discord, definitely consider joining our absolutely chaotic, somewhat safe for work, absolutely chaotic Discord. And if you haven't yet, definitely consider subscribing on YouTube or following on Twitch. And we will continue this with iStudies on Thursday. Our next stream is going to be Saturday, and for those of you who are new here, we are going to be tackling the end of Chapter 7, Arknights. We'll see how that goes. Alright. Have a fantastic day, wherever you may be in the world or the many, many worlds beyond. I wish you all the best. All the best of your day, evening, or night. And thank you so much, Stargazers. All the best.